all grace, everybody. I'll be one of your co-hosts this evening. My name is Prophetess Sophie. Amen. Amen. First and foremost, we would like to thank the person of the Holy Spirit.
Thank you, Holy Ghost!
Our highly esteemed spiritual Papa.
Whoa!
This is our first segment this evening.
Whoa!
It's the special guest segment. This man is a success. You guys will be highly blessed by his personal testimony. Just to see the beauty that the Lord has brought into his life.
Yes, sir!
He is highly favored.
Yay!
With that being said, let's meet our special guest, Nelson Aluya! Amen. You all may be seated. Mr. Aluya, are you excited to be here?
Yes, I am.
Are you excited to be in the presence of the Holy Spirit?
Yay!
We're fellowshipping with the boss himself this evening. Amen. Can we please meet you? Can our audience meet you? Amen.
Amen. Well, it's a pleasure to be here.
Amen. Thanks for coming.
It's so amazing to be in the presence of esteemed individuals and wonderful children of God in the presence of God. Because in the presence of God, there's always liberty.
Hey! Yes, sir!
Amen.
That's the liberty we enjoy.
Yes, sir! Yeah.
It's a pleasure. I'm really glad to be here.
Amen. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Everybody's excited to know who you are.
Yep, yes, yes!
And what the Lord has done in your life. Amen. We know that Mr. Aluya is actually a doctor.
Whoa!
Well, often enough I barely hear my first name being called. It's always Dr. Aluya, Dr. Aluya. So I almost forgot what my first name is. So I'm Nelson Aluya. My middle name is Oke. It's a tribal name from Nigeria. It means God's gift. It's Nelson Oke Aluya. And I was born in Nigeria.
Amen.
Trained from elementary school, high school, college or medical school in Nigeria at the Great Amanda Bello University.
Whoa!
That's up in the northern part of Nigeria, and then where I graduated and did some training, I eventually moved to the United States.
Amen.
I'm married with a child, a 15-year-old Stephanie. My wife, Yobusa Aluya. I presently practice medicine and pediatrics at Rutgers University Hospital in Newark. I'm also an assistant professor.
Amen.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome. Did you always know that you wanted to practice medicine?
Yes, I get often asked that same question, and I would say I'm one of the very few privileged ones who knew exactly what they want to do when they were little. I actually went to become a doctor when I was 4 years old.
Wow.
I remember where and when I was when I made that decision to become a doctor.
Can you tell us about that? Like, how was it for you? At 4 years old, you're like, I want to be a doctor. Because usually, young children say, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a teacher. But as they grow older, they change their minds.
Right.
So,
I come from a pretty well knit or closely knit family and extended family. I say that because my dad was in the army, he was a military officer, so they moved around. I lived with them from time to time, and when they moved to not very friendly, parts of the country, I would go live with grandma. So my grandma was a founding, bedrock to who I became and what I became. And I have a wonderful set of aunties also who helped molded me into the man that I am today. So I was one of my aunties when I decided and made that decision of wanting to become a doctor. So it's been that all through my life. So I often say, I don't think I'll know how to be anything else until I become a doctor. I work hard, towards it. I got myself prepared and set a goal, planned to achieve the goal, and by God's grace, I have achieved it. So.
Amen.
Amen.
So what's your definition of success?
Well, I mean, there's a books, Word of Success, and other non-conventional definition of success. I mean, success can be defined as attaining or achieving a set goals and aims and objectives, and that could be in the form of fame, wealth, or even recognition. And that's basically the Webster's definition of success.
Yes,
But I often tell people success, it's often a word in translation. The reason why, because at every stage of your life, success will mean different things to you.
True. Yeah.
You could be, so you could be in high school or elementary school, and your dream is to get into a real amazing high school. And when you do that, it's a success.
True.
You constantly readjust and aim higher, because like I said, it's attaining, what your dreams and objectives are. So those things often change enough, and you go through it, and at every point you get there, you've achieved success.
Wow.
Yeah. So from elementary, high school, and then when you finish high school, you want to get into Harvard or Yale. Or
Yes, sir.
whatever.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
And you have to set your goals high.
Yes, sir.
You set your goals high, and as children of God and Christians, those goals should be high enough, because with God, there's no limitations.
Yes, sir.
So you set your goals high, you work towards it, you come up with a plan, and speak to God like I speak to you now, and tell him exactly what you want. Stay focused and understand that it takes hard work, it takes courage, it takes dedication, it takes perseverance, and all of those. If you've done your work, you sit with God and say, listen, God, this is what I want, and tell me how best to go about it. He'll definitely, lead you. Because his thoughts towards you are not of evil, but that of good.
Yes, sir.
We know you've been practicing for quite some time. So what are the challenges that you've come across?
Well, I finished medical school back home, and I came here to the United States, coming to achieve the dream of practicing medicine. And again, I knew when I was in elementary school, I'll go to medical school, be done, and I come to the United States. I knew that from the beginning. And that's because I communicated that with God, and I said, God, this is what I want. Just show me how best to achieve this dream. And I stayed focused on it and persevered, and everything came out the way I really wanted. And when you come to the United States, you have to, if you train outside, you have to take the exams or the boards again. all over. So it's like going through medical school all over again. And at this time around, if you had your parents who were your backings, now you're on your own. You have to work and fight for your family. I had a wife then. At the same time, you have to adjust to the system in the United States. Back home in Nigeria, we did things the British way. And coming to the United States, it's all, getting used to the American system and how things work here. You have to learn, to surround yourself with people who have the same goals and objectives that you are. Because that's one of the recipe for success, really.
Yeah, wow.
You can't want to come into medical school and practice all through medical school and practice medicine here and hang out with guys who musicians. It's not gonna happen. I'm sorry. Nothing against music, but those who are in engineering. You have to hang out with those, surround yourself with them, and then I took the boards. I had shared with you earlier on one episode where you see the hand of God working, towards stuff. Then one of the last exams you take for you to qualify, for you to be able to be considered for interviews, you have to take that exam. Then, when I first came in, you have to take that exam latest by January 31st. So, and at that time, you only took the exam in Philadelphia. So everybody on earth, if you want to practice medicine, you have to go to Philly and take that last step of the exam. So you pay $1,200. I think it's still $1,200. At that time, you can imagine paying that amount of money. So, so I paid and I called them up and said, listen, I paid, I want to write the exam. He's like, yeah, you have time, just call as long as it's before January 31st. So I said, okay, I paid. I started studying and I called them up to schedule my exams. They're like, oh, your exam has been scheduled already. I'm like, really?
Wow.
By who? They're like, you did it. I said, no, I didn't. So I said, when is my exam scheduled for? They're like, oh, it was February 14th. Like, February 14th? That's Valentine's Day. I would not schedule.
Exactly.
I would not schedule my exam on Valentine's Day. So what I said, it's been scheduled February 14th. So, and I said, so is there anything I can do about it? No, because if you don't take the exam, then you forfeit your $1,200.
Wow.
You have to pay the exam.
Oh, no.
So, and the implication of that is you're outside of the match because there's a period called the match. So you're outside of it. So meaning you have to wait 1 year.
Wow.
So I had to wait 1 year because of that. Till today, I don't know who scheduled the exam for me, but it was said. I said, okay, fine, God, if this is what you want, it's gonna hurt, but I have to accept it. Sometimes, in life you go through things when you work hard to achieve the things you want to, and it's not just it doesn't turn out the way you want. And as Christians, you have to learn to accept it. And you accept it in the favor of God, meaning you ask God and say, okay, now, this is what's happening. Why is this happening? What's the next step? How am I going to do about it? Or what am I going to do about it? Because only then, if you accept it, then you have peace within yourself. So I did. So I accepted it and I moved on. But it meant being, then I was working as a pharmacy tech at one of the big hospitals in Jersey. And I had to accept it and I move on. But all through every time, it was painful. I'm human. It was painful, but every time I remember sometimes walking in the corridors of the hospital, I would cry to God, because when I see those who got it that year and I wasn't in, I would cry to God. And I said, God, there's a purpose why you allow this to happen. And let your purpose be, evident.
Amen.
And within that year, I communed with my wife. We sat and we planned and we decided to buy a house. So we got the house.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And then I was able to find out about other programs, because then I wanted to do internal medicine or surgery. But then I found out there was a program called Medicine Pediatrics, which is a combined medicine training and pediatrics training. So I said, wow, I never knew about it. But if I had gotten in the year before,
You would have
I
never
would
had the
have loved.
opportunity.
Right. So, which was a great opportunity, and I got into a medicine pediatrics residency,
Wow.
which is like, having two trainings in one.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why that delay came.
Yeah,
The
right.
Lord had planned
Right.
everything out for you. Amen.
And that's it. And other events that you see the hand of God working towards it. And
Yes, sir.
eventually me entering university hospital where I am now, and there were things I had planned. How I wanted my life to go on. And I hit a stumbling block. And when I got there, I said, God, okay, now what? What am I going to do? But then He opened up the doors for me to come into university, and it's been a wonderful experience so far.
Amen.
So not just that, you have the accolades of being a professor and teach and manage cases and see the latest of what medicine has to offer
Yeah.
in some of the top hospitals in Jersey, but also in the world.
Yeah.
In the top of the most advanced country in the world. And this has always been my dream, and I'm glad I'm living my dream.
Amen.
Thanks to the person of the Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy
And I
Spirit.
hold all that to the work of the Holy Spirit and
Yeah.
how it directs me on a daily basis. I still have more things to achieve. My success is still in translation.
Yes, sir.
Amen.
And the dreams that I still want to achieve. I've been able to train and teach young doctors and medical students who become leaders of tomorrow. As well as help achieve medical mission dream of mine. And I'll tell you a story about that shortly. In Jamaica. And this is, it's a story I often tell, often enough, because I do medical missions to Jamaica, and it's up in the mountains of Jamaica. It's about 2,500 feet above sea level. So when you go top of the mountains, so there are very few hospitals around.
Yeah.
And now we're building a clinic that would sustain and take care of people, old folks who actually. So the story actually began because it was impressed on my heart to do that, and I said, "All right, God, you're asking me to do medical missions. I don't know how to go about it. I don't know where. I mean, ideally, being a Nigerian, you expect." I go to Nigeria, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But then I said, listen, God, just lead me. I don't know where or how to go about this. Just put me through.
Yeah.
So I prayed, and usually within 2 weeks I get answers to most things I pray about.
And you know what's the beautiful thing about your prayer?
Right.
Instead of asking God, you're always saying, God, what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
That's the beautiful thing about the prayer.
So I learned early to pray this way.
Yes.
I said, God, please help me to pray in the line of the vision you have for me.
Amen.
Because if you pray in the line God wants for you, you will never do no wrong.
True. Exactly.
If God promises working on you, you just go take in the line that He wants you to take.
Exactly.
So rather than banging your head against something else
Yeah.
and expecting a different outcome, you're already in the line, and God said,
Amen. I receive.
So coming to the story, and when I asked that question, I asked God, this is what I would love to do, but teach me. So I waited and I left it like that. So a friend or a junior colleague from school back home in Nigeria came. I really didn't know him much, but he was maybe 2-3 years my junior in medical school. So he called me up and said, "Oh, I'm in the United States. I came in for a program." I said, "Okay, oh, that's nice. What's your number?" So I wrote down the number and I said, "Okay, I'll get back to you," because I was at work. So I think a day or two afterwards, I called the number. There was no response, so I left a message. Hey, I'm returning my call. Sorry, I didn't call all this while because I'd just been busy. So, I left it like that. I think towards the evening, I got a call from the same number because I saved it and said, somebody called this number. I'm returning the call. So I said, it was a female voice. So I said, sorry. I wanted to reach my, friend who came from Nigeria. He's in Florida, and he knows nobody. He just moved into Florida. He's here for a program. So I said, I'm really very sorry if I let. So she's like, no worry. I hope you, get to talk to your friend, and and she was so sweet on the phone, so wonderful on the phone. So I said, okay, fine. If I get to talk to my friend, since you're in Florida, I'll call you back to let you know.
So this is somebody that you just
on the phone. so I emailed my friend and said, listen, I called the wrong number and the number
it wasn't the wrong number. The Lord directed you to call that
So I
number.
emailed and said he gave me the number, and I looked at it and missed one number. Instead of 7, I wrote an 8.
Wow.
So, and I called back. Yes, so when I spoke to my friend, I said, hey, how are you? Where are you? He said he's in Tampa. So I said, okay. So, something just impressed on my mind to call the lady back. I said, I finally got my friend. He's in Tampa. And I missed one number. And she's like, I'm in Tampa too. I'm like, really? That's nice. I said, he's there. He knows nobody. I don't know, but she's alone. So she's like, sweetest human being. Lynette Davis is her name. One of the most amazing human beings. So she said, okay. If that's the case, it was close to Thanksgiving. If it's Thanksgiving, we should pick him up for Thanksgiving. I'm like, really? You do that? And she said, yes. So I called my friend and said, listen, I don't know this lady, but she's so wonderful on the phone. She said she'll pick you up, for Thanksgiving because she don't know anybody. And she asked me what I do, and I said, I work in the hospital. Then I don't tell anybody what I do. So I said, I work in the hospital, and she said, I'm a nurse. I said, okay, fine. So when my friend got to the house and he called me, and I had called her back, and I said, thank you so much. I don't know you, but you're just an amazing human being. You took care of my friend. So she said, okay, yes, thank you, no problem. And then, it's all God's grace, we love, it's a wonder that we do this. So she asked again, so what do you do? So now I told her I'm a doctor. Like, really, where? I told her where. She's like, guess what? I'm looking for people to do medical mission.
Oh, man. Praise God.
Wow, God just answered my prayer. I said, you know what? I've been wanting to do medical mission forever, but I didn't know how to do about it.
Yeah.
So she's like, come join us. So I said, all right, fine, I'll do it. So she was very skeptical. So every time she emailed me, I'm busy. She would email me, Doc, I don't want to disturb you, but this is what so I sent all my info to her. I did everything. And when the day we're leaving for, it was June. So from all June, from January to June, I sent in all my papers, filled up work. A few times you have to call me multiple times to do all that. But I did. And I paid the money that was necessary for, the tickets. I said, I don't have time. I can't sit down and be looking on internet. So she did everything. And then when it was time, I was supposed to fly into Florida, meet them in Florida, and then we'll all go together to Jamaica. Of course, I missed my flight. So, and she was calling like, are you, Doc, are you coming? I said, yes, I'm coming. So I got to Florida for Lauderdale, but they had left to Jamaica. So I got there, and then I got into the next flight and got to Jamaica. I got to Jamaica, it was 11:30 at night.
Wow.
My first time in Jamaica. And then they had gotten home, which was 3 hours away from the village where the mission is. So they drove back, and I was very apologetic. But the first time I met Lynette Davis was in Jamaica.
Wow.
That's 6 years ago, and I've been going to medical mission ever since. If you ask for something, if you wish for something, just lay it on God's hand.
Amen. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
We're going to take 2 questions from the audience. Any questions? Amen.
Hallelujah. Oh, how glorious the Holy Spirit.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, the time is too long for us to talk. I have so many questions to ask. And I want to introduce myself as one of the pastors here. And I'm I said I'm going to be the first to ask questions.
Okay.
You know the challenges of FMGs, so I'm going to ask you, is there hope? I know in the Lord there is hope, but I've never had any encouraging word outside. We're just encouraging ourselves in the Lord, knowing that He that has called us will not leave us. But I want to also reach to those on Periscope, because there's a lot of IMGs.
Right.
You go to the hospital, we are doing menial jobs.
Right.
Anywhere you go, you see hundreds of IMGs doing what they're not supposed to do.
Right.
So can you please give us a word?
Yes, there is hope, especially if you're a child of God. And, you know, like, I mean, I had a frank talk. I'm usually very frank, and I'll tell you exactly the way it is. Often enough, I apologize. Sometimes it may not be what you want to hear, but I'll tell you the truth. Because the truth often will set you free. And the truth will eventually still come out.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not what people want to hear. So there's hope in the sense that, one, once you come into the country, like I said, surround yourself with those who have the same ideals, same dreams, same objectives as you are.
Yeah.
So because if you medical school back home, it's tough, it's rough. Anywhere in the world, medical school is rough.
Yeah.
So, and it takes time, it takes, you know, dedication, commitment, and money. So if you've done all of that and you come to the United States, you should be able to practice. So when you come in, you know, everything's strange, it's new. Identify places where you can meet people who are like you. I mean, now, when I came in, there was no Google. There's no way you could Google up or look up stuff. You just have to keep asking.
Yeah.
So now you Google up forums for IMG and see who are around in the state or the city or town where you are. You understand? And then sign up to those forums where you see what it entails for you to take the exams. What exams you need to take, when you need to take them, how you need to take them, and then what scores that you need to get to where you want to. And not just that, when to apply for programs. Because those things are really very important. And then you have a whole game plan. So if you come in, maybe in June, we said by June 2000, let's say 2017, you say by June 2019, I would have done with my exams, and the application period begins maybe in August, I think. So you would have had all your exams necessary for you to apply for residency, and you start early. As an IMG, you have to start as soon as the portals are open for you to apply. Why? Because at that point in time, most American graduates haven't started applying yet.
Right.
They start applying later. Like sometimes September or a few October, most of them will start going. Listen, by the time they start applying, they will not look at your applications anymore. I mean, it's expected. These are their kids. They went to the same school here, they went the whole thing, they know them already. So you are somewhere from outside. So if you apply early enough, then those applications will come in and they can review them, right? That's good. And then taking the exams, you have to look for a dedicated library. I mean, university library is there. I mean, that's where I did all my studying. And I met other IMGs. Then it was a lot easier. You just go in, nobody will ask you questions, but too many, and then things start happening, they start making some changes. However, King University is there, and it's open up to late, right. And then the Barnes and Nobles, you can always go there and study and meet other people. So you have to get all the materials that are needed, and then answer questions. the first aid. Often I tell people, you see the first aid, you get your first aid, read the first aid twice, back to back twice first, and then begin to answer questions. So once you've read them, and you've read the book back and back, and you begin to answer questions, you now realize that the way things are set here, it's a little different from where we come from, or any other system where you come from. So then you learn from the answers that they give in the questions that you missed. And those, you see, the questions you get, you always get them. The ones you fail, you most likely will fail them all the time if you don't get to study more about those questions. So that's how you do it. And then get your friends who would work with you so that you share knowledge and share experiences on how to write the exam.
And that is one of the responses I get when I meet with IMGs, doing what they're not supposed to do. In terms of working, they have bills to pay, and this exam is still sitting. So what advice do you have? Is it advisable to work?
Often enough you have no choice but to work. I came in, I had a wife, we put that time, having kids for a short while, because I know what it entails. It's rough, it's difficult, but in between, my daughter came, and I'm used to carrying my daughter in the back. I carry my nieces and nephews on my back the African way, so I used to do that. So my wife, would work at night, overnight, and I would work and come back in the evening. So a few times we had a few neighbors who were really good. So in between an hour or so, or 30 minutes where I'll come and my wife goes out, we'll leave the baby with the neighbor, and then I'll come pick up the baby, I'll put her to sleep. She was very good. She was a very good kid. So we just leave her to sleep, and if she's not sleeping, I put her on my back and sit and study. So I had to work. And then you have to pay the bills, have to learn how to pay the American bills. I then pay for the exams. The exams are not cheap. One of them is $1,200. They're not cheap. We're up $1,500 now, so they're not cheap. So, and then you have to buy the books and the materials to study. So, a major part of my life, especially within the first 2 years when I came to this country, I really didn't know I was in America. I really didn't. It was work, library, home. Work, library, home. And that's all it did. And I had to do that so I get to where I am today.
Yes,
That's the commitment that it takes. So yes, you can work, but choose the kind of work that you will do. And I'll tell you why. I came into the country, I said, listen, what work would I do where I'll be able to study and at the same time still make money? And they said, oh, well, most people who are in school do security jobs. So I said, all right, fine, I'll do security. So I worked as a security job. But then I remember telling them when they're applying it, I said, listen, I do not want a security job where I'll stand from morning to night for 7 days. I'm like, no, just give me a place where I'll sit and just watch, and then I can study. So I got a place, off somewhere in Avenel, and I did 12-hour shift, really, every day. And it was, it was God answering my prayers in the sense that I just sit, nobody came in, nobody came out. I just sat and I studied. And that's what I did. And when I was done with that, and I was writing my exam, I said, okay, fine, I'm done with my exams, it's time to apply. But the medicine we studied back home and the medications and all that, they're different. Panadol, right, it's acetaminophen or Tylenol, and here it's called Tylenol, and so many other things. So what should I do? I said, you know what? I have to get into the medical field. So how do you get into the medical field? I reached out to somebody, and they got me a job as a pharmacy tech.
Right.
So as a pharmacy tech, I was able to learn all the medications that they use here. All the latest, antibiotics, all the medications and everything, and that has sustained me even till today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You have truly blessed each and every person here with your testimony. May the Lord continuously be your which He have called you to do, may you fulfill His plan and purpose, of course, all the days of your life. Amen. For glory and grace. Never be a stranger. Amen. Thank you so much. And that's all that we'll take for our special guest segment for glory and grace. This is Prophetess Sophie again.
Yes.
Stay tuned for our next segment. Amen.